mean, I get what you want to discuss your disgrievances back when you perform in Ring of Honor as ACH, but the way you worded it is not the right way of doing it legal wise. Because you see, what you should have done is word it more like you can say fuck Ring of Honor, okay, but you should back it up from saying something like what's the best word? Just fuck Ring of Honor, because at the time I was there, my experience with that company um, wasn't that great. The way they, you know, you, held back some of the performers and sort of, because calling, held back some of the performers or not giving them what they're due, you know, that, you know, something like that, in terms of make it sound like you're expressing not only your experience, but also in a way where it's like from your own, excuse me, I'm sorry, but from your own point of view or from your, status in the company, what your insight was, pretty much, saying like, how Jay Lethal was up here and everybody else was down there. But at the same time, you gotta also understand, Jay Lethal, in terms of wrestling business, is more marketable than both you and Cedric Alexander, and so much so forth. And here's the reason why: experience. He been, I mean, okay, maybe you guys been wrestling about the same amount of time as Jay Lethal in terms of wrestling years, you know, doing indies and stuff, but Jay Lethal been on television before you guys. He's more known before you guys. I mean, so far from what I understand, a lot of guys seem to look at Jay Lethal and they've always had something positive, something good to say about him. But at the same time, you're the first one I've heard that says Jay Lethal in more in a negative light. However, you also have to understand, not that many people know who Cedric Alexander is. I mean, they know now, but back in Ring of Honor, they didn't know who he was. They just like, oh, he's new, which means he's kind of green. Maybe if he had excel more of a connect, well, I'm not saying he didn't connect with the fans, but more of a notoriety, develop more of a persona where it, pretty much let him be more well known to where everybody's like, oh, wow, you know what I mean? Same thing like yourself when you first started showing up in Ring of Honor. I thought you were cool, but at the same time, you were new. You know what I mean? Like currently in Ring of Honor, they have this tag team called Coast to Coast. They're all right. I mean, I'm not trying to say anything bad. The fact that they made it to the spotlight where they can perform on television, they're not bad. But at the same time, I can tell you right now, I don't expect them to win the tag team titles right now. You know what I mean? So it's like you gotta have more story, more development, more character. And that's me expressing my opinion. But I don't know Jay Lethal. I don't know how Ring of Honor do their business status quo, you know, behind the scenes, so to speak. But like I said, you can say fuck Ring of Honor. That one, that's your, you know, you can say your, say your disgrievance. I'm not saying you can't, but you gotta watch how you say it, the words you saying, cause you call Jay Lethal Uncle Tom, and in that light, especially when you're trying to say, um, people are holding down black people, or the company you work for don't like black people or whatever. In all of this, you, and I'm telling you straight up, through all these evidence and everything, and your actions, you look like you're the racist one. I'm just being straight up honest. That's why in the beginning, I said, in my opinion, you're a fucking moron. Because you're the one that's, saying, it's one of those things where it's like, it's the most inconvenient thing, and then all of a sudden one person like, hey, like for perfect example, Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle is a very funny comedian, and recently he put up his stand-up hour show on Netflix. Everybody enjoyed it, including myself. And then all of a sudden, out of the woodwork, people are like, oh, he's he's anti this, anti that. We shouldn't support him. Even on Reddit, they try to downplay him, but from the audience standpoint, we showed in support, like, no, you guys are trying to market it in a negative light because everything in this world today is now PG. We live in a pussified era in this state of mind right now, where it's like the most innocent thing can be looked at and be like, hey, that's wrong, and then people will blow it up. Like earlier, I don't know if it was earlier this year or last year, but there were these ladies, they wanted to open up a taco/burrito shop, and everything was fine until people felt that because they were white, they were Caucasian, they shouldn't be having this taco/burrito shop. So one person had an issue with that, somehow managed to get other people with that stupid tribal mentality to join in, and guess what? They pushed them out of the business because of the color of their skin. They weren't Mexican enough, or, to be making tacos or burritos. But yet, Chipotle is owned by a white guy. You see how stupid that looks? Okay, let's go to your blackface thing. Now, this is me being opinionated. I mean, you can tell because this time I'm more... Alright, your blackface t-shirt thing. You said, oh, that t-shirt has red lips. Where? When a person smiles, when you want to make an animated character or a cartoon person smile, what do? Me as a person who is creative, a person who is the artist, they have to accentuate that smile, kind of like what I already mentioned earlier. However, here's what's different. On paper, or on television, or on anything, when you want to do an open mouth smile, guess what? You got to expose the inner mouth of the smile. What color is the inner mouth? The inner mouth, it can be, under the lip, everything, in their mouth. It's either red or pink. So you mean to tell me when a t-shirt is smiling, it looks like it has red lips when it's the inner mouth? And your name is white. Okay, that's not a problem, like I already mentioned earlier. It's like, to me, because of the size of the font, it does not look like teeth. That's me from my input, what I see when I see the t-shirt. It looked like, the size of the font do not look like teeth to me. I get it if it, follow the lining of the smile, and I get it if people view that as teeth, but to me, they don't look like teeth. Okay? Now, anybody can answer this question. Of all the years when it comes to WWE putting out t-shirts of their performers, of their wrestlers, their logos, anything, what is their go-to color t-shirt? Name anybody besides John Cena that came out with plethora of colors t-shirt. Name another wrestler besides John Cena that has a different color shirt that wasn't black. I mean, the only other person I could think of, and I could be wrong, would have to be Bailey. Because she did the, when she was a face. I think one of her shirts was either red or purple. That's the only thing I could think of. But John Cena, that's why when The Rock came to the Monday Night Raw that one time, called John Cena saying that he looked like a Fruity Pebble. And it was funny because it's facts, but other than that, all the other performers, every single one of their shirts were black. Not one, not even fucking one, besides you, that was like, oh, that's blackface. I get it, there's no smile. There were faces on there. Hell, you can look at Stone Cold Steve Austin. It's literally black t-shirt with his picture or emblem or logo. Any of those things. Now, again, your name was inside a smile. It didn't look like they were buck teeth or gaps. I mean, that's another thing I probably didn't mention it earlier. I don't remember now, but yeah, when it comes to blackface, you know, how I mentioned earlier, you know, it's a very racist stereotype view of a black person in cartoonish form. You know, they would have, you guys get it, you know, the whole thing. I already mentioned it earlier. I don't have to go mention it again. But another adjective, I don't know if I mentioned it, is that they either have buck teeth or gaps in their teeth. Guess what? Do you see that at all in your t-shirt? Your name is Jordan Myles. I did not see any gaps or it looks like they're buck teeth formation. It's just your name in a t-shirt. To me, that just the reason why I'm seeming to get all riled up because I myself experienced racism. And, you know, back when I was younger. I myself been in a situation where my life was threatened due to racism. So, pardon me if it doesn't seem like I'm pretty much on your side right now, because what you're saying is, oh, that's racist, is bullshit. You are looking like you're pandering for attention, for the culture, Okay, I can follow that. I can get behind that, but here's the problem. The meaning behind it is stupid. The reason for it is stupid. I'm not going to follow that. I'm not going to, you know, endorse that. I don't want to be a part of that because you look like a fucking moron. Yes, I'm saying it. I said it in the beginning. Everything, like I said, it's the way you word things, and all of a sudden, the moment you get called out on it, you're deleting tweets.